right in front of our eyes. The so-called bubble that everyone has been talking about may actually be coming to an end. From Michael Burry, the man who caused the 2008 financial crisis, to Wallstreet, the momentum around AI and the money-making potentials of it is slowing down, and the recent steep drop in the stock market have brought on fears and talk of a severe stock market downturn. The only question here is whether or not this is another dot-com bubble or something far worse than we can imagine. The company at the center of it all, Nvidia, controlled by Jensen Huang. Nvidia has recently become the first company in history to have a market cap of $5 trillion, making up around 8% of the SP 500. And its valuation isn't all too surprising considering the reliance everyone has on the second-to-none world-class chips. Companies such as Microsoft, OpenAI, Meta, Amazon, all of them basically. They have made sure that they have access to the latest chips Nvidia puts out. And so there's two questions. Why exactly and how? In order to create artificial general intelligence or human-level intelligence, companies utilize AI data centers. In short, they are data centers that are specialized solely for AI purposes, including storing data, doing training runs, and running generative models. Companies need powerful up-to-date data centers to create powerful up-to-date AI models that people use in their day-to-day life. These data centers are often made up of thousands upon thousands of square feet and are made up of tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of GPUs. And so companies throw massive amounts of money in showing themselves in this magical competition, a race, you could say. All of that money being pointed towards Nvidia. BlackRock and Nvidia, OpenAI and Nvidia, Nokia and Nvidia. Investments and deals with companies in countries such as Germany, Australia, the UK. All of a sudden, the $5 trillion valuation makes more sense. Going through all of these deals would simply take quite a bit of energy. Speaking of energy, a huge problem begins to arise with these data centers. Can you guess what it is? In 2022, AI started out using as much as 2% of global energy demands. The number is projected to jump to 4% by 2026 and will drive as much as up to 20% by 2030. Now we are talking about global energy demands, but we could get a little bit deeper. The International Energy Agency found in an analysis that a ChatGPT request took about 2.9 watt-hours, a watt-hour being the usage in watts over the course of an hour. In comparison, a simple Google search takes as much as 0.3 watt-hours, a staggering 9x. To put it into a better frame, a simple light bulb uses around 60 watt-hours. These data centers use enough energy to strain power grids and push up energy costs that get pushed onto the average day-to-day consumer. An easy example being, well, the US. In an analysis by Bloomberg, they found that in areas near data centers saw an increase in electricity costs as much as 267% compared to 5 years ago, far beyond a coincidence. And what has been gotten in return? A said to be underwhelming launch of ChatGPT 5, one whose training run costed as much as up to $5 billion and true usefulness is being questioned. In a study done by MIT Media Lab, they found that 95% of companies that utilize AI are getting nothing in return. A on its surface devastating fact, but in the effort of being a little more than just a usual commentary channel, I want to be a little more nuanced. In the actual report, they specify that the biggest divide among the successful 5 and the unsuccessful 95 is the way they utilize that AI. The quote, "The organizations and vendors succeeding are those aggressively solving for learning, memory, and workflow adaptation, while those failing are either building generic tools or are trying to develop capabilities internally," speaking less towards the AI itself and more towards the way people use it. But regardless, the realities on how AI looks on paper versus how it's actually being applied brings into question its true value. Companies and AI enthusiasts alike that spend and push these AI products would say that AI's true value isn't about where it is now, but where it could be in the near future. ASI, or Artificial Superintelligence, is a hypothetical AI that is smarter than the entire population of the world, combined. Thousands of years of research, done in minutes. Every answer you could possibly imagine could be answered by such a thing in an instant. Any entity, company, or individual that is able to create and take control of such a thing will control the world. So assuming this ASI entity is even possible in the near future, these companies will stop at nothing to reach for it and beat not only each other to it, but their geopolitical rival, China. Billions upon trillions upon trillions of dollars going into a money-absorbing black hole for a potential godlike entity. Would you not want in as well? What if everyone else wants in also? There are 4 ingredients that tend to make up any bubble of any kind. Number 1, uncertainty. What exactly is your plans for the future? Do you plan to translate whatever you got going on into a real business? Number 2, pure plays. Are we making YOLO plays? Investing and sinking huge amounts of money into projects? Is there seemingly an infinite amount of money being thrown around everywhere, including into these companies? Number 3, novice traders. Are the people throwing money into these companies actually knowledgeable in what they are buying? Or are they just buying in because everyone else is? Are they constantly repeating this idea that there's more money to be made if you invested? Number 4, the narrative. Are the industry leaders hyping up this specific thing to be out as almost magical, that they require all the attention and hype around the product because the product will do wonders? Should I connect it up with the current product trend, or do you guys already see it? AI adoption rate is trending downward for large companies, and solid evidence for the continuation of AI taking all kinds of jobs at the current moment have not been found yet. And despite that, in the past 5 years alone, Google, Nvidia, Amazon, companies that have become more AI focused have tacked on $5 trillion in market value. Before I mentioned Nvidia reaching a $5 trillion market cap at the start of the video, well, that was only 3 months after reaching a $4 trillion market cap. Though we would have to wait and see what Google puts out with Gemini 3. LLM progress is seemingly slowing down, and it's looking like it's not the key to AGI, let alone ASI. The top 10 stocks in the SP 500 contribute 28.8% of total earnings, a huge jump from the 2000s, in which total earnings contributed to only 16.6%. And get this one, about 1/6 of the US GDP growth came from AI investments in chips and data centers, with potential add-ins such as grid upgrades and intellectual property value of the software. The number could get as high as 40%, up to 40% of US GDP from AI, something that has not yet provided that level of value in return. And you're only left with one last question. Could this bubble be the bubble that puts the dot-com bubble to shame? Well, using this specific formula, you come to what might be the scariest worst answer you can imagine, beginning with Wixal and the Wixalian spread. I'm gonna keep this very simple and short, but a Wixalian spread is basically the bank's willingness to expand and spend on their business. That huge dip you see, that's COVID. During that dip, companies had an extremely strong incentive to expand more than ever. Based on this piece of data, we can calculate the amount of misallocated capital, meaning unproductive investments, whether it be into companies, projects, or sectors. By subtracting the Wixalian spread from 2, multiplying that by the result of GDP for the quarter, then proceeding to have that result multiplied by the debt to GDP, you get this. Close to 70% of US GDP, or around $19 trillion in misallocated assets. It just makes all the other crashes look like minor recessions. This includes just about everything, not just AI, but housing, NFTs, and real estate. The bubble you are potentially seeing, according to this equation, is 4 times larger than the 2008 financial crisis, the crash that left 8.7 million jobs vanished, and 17 times larger than the dot-com bubble, the crash that led to the Nasdaq to lose 80% of its value and took 15 years to recover from.